So I'm very pleased to introduce Johanna Jarvinen, who's the Business Development Manager for Bionova Limited, who provide the OneClickLCA tool. Johanna is a sustainability professional with a specialism in life cycle assessment and an extensive knowledge on sustainability issues and low carbon design within the built environment, especially in the UK. She works as a sustainability consultant and is a BREEAM advisory professional since 2007.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Hopefully you can see my presentation. So OneClickLCA, we have recently changed our name actually. So Bionova is gone, OneClickLCA it is, which is been our software product in any case. So just talking about here about BIM and how it can be, and parametric design, how they can be used to conduct life cycle assessment. So carbon calculations for construction, whatever you think of construction really. So we, as in OneClickLCA, are LCA software platform. So we have different tools, we work in different countries, and we hold a lot of data for carbon data for designers and such like. So like I said, we have different software solutions depending what you're designing. So building designs and construction, then we have infrastructure, and also for manufacturers of construction products in that sense. And we also do kind of try to put the climate emergency on agenda by pushing policy pieces as well. So we integrate all the global carbon data from construction to our platform for our clients to use. The software can be used for green building compliance assessments, and we do integrate with loads of different BIM tools as well as other kind of energy modeling and so tools. Currently we have about 14 different integrations, and those are growing. Tekla is there too, somehow it's not on my slide. Then we have other tools as well, so it's not just the carbon tools, but also circularity and costing and inputted carbon tools. So because we have quite different tools on the market, we do cover the entire construction sector as best as we can, really, from engineers to institutions and investors. So OneClickLCA is a web application, so it's all cloud-based. So anything you want to do is done in cloud. The obviously life cycle assessments is not the idea. Well, it's the thing that you do, but however, why you do it is to test and compare and optimize your design. So what does one mean? Probably nothing, but when you do different solutions, test different material options and different constructions, you will start to find out what and how you should build your building. So it should be like an iterative process really when you're doing LCAs. OneClickLCA can be also used in all the projects. Obviously, you can use it without a BIM model. However, it clearly is more accurate, but there is also ways of deciding the direction very early stages. And obviously, you can also do as-built assessments and use it in any state of the design, really. And you can use it in all over the world. So obviously, different countries has different tools or ways of calculating carbon as well, unfortunately. So in the UK, we do cover all the scopes that there is currently there that you might ever need to calculate carbon for. So like I said, we take all the manufacturers' calculations of carbon. So the environmental product declarations, what EPD stands for, is already available. You can request also more data from manufacturers if you can't find your product, or use generic data, which is also available. But yeah, we would like, obviously, manufacturers to do more calculations so you guys can have more accurate data. And the manufacturers can then also use our tool, or there is obviously other tools available to do further calculations and so on. So we have also automized the EPD creation as much as possible. So the BIM integrations that we have works through plugins, and so we have also integrations for energy softwares like ISVE, Design Builder, and some other Scandinavian EDIs integrations. Design softwares new to the family are Rhino and Grasshopper, which is a good addition, especially early stages. And then we also have integration of BIM management tools, and we also sell like IFC reader that if you don't use any of the integrations that we provide, you can still use your IFC model and see how that performs. So the reduction potential of your design is the highest on earliest design. So if you decide obviously build nothing, then that's the best solution really. However, I guess we need to make some money and build buildings. So then there is 2-3 other things you could do: build less, build clever, build more efficiently, which obviously BIM models can be really useful for that. So, but if you have in any construction project, the highest carbon production potential is in early stages. So from the BIM tool point of view, on the tools, if you are using Rhino or Grasshopper or Tekla Structural Designer, these have highest potential for early design carbon reduction. Revit models and Tekla structures are great in design sense, but you have to have quite a full model before you can do much about it. So these have been evaluated to be in highest potential. So if you want to impact early, these kind of tools can have a great results on that. If you also have a design team, like a wider design team, and you are doing the drawings, you are doing design optioneering, however, you don't have access to a platform, but maybe someone in your design team has, you can also send them data. So they don't need to have your Revit license or Rhino license or something like that. You can just send them the quantity data and they can then assess it in the other end. So it can also be helpful without being our licensed users. So you can just create a free account, send them data, and they can be happy to continue doing your carbon work for you. And also, if you don't have a drawing yet, we have like a tool called Carbon Designer, which just by knowing the cross floor area number of floors, and obviously kind of building type and country is also relevant, to create yourself a carbon model, so you can see where the embodied carbon are mainly situated, so you can concentrate effort to reduce in right places, or already select some options just for selecting lines outside of your drawing. So I was going to talk about 3 different integrations which have the highest potential. So obviously Revit, we have had it for years, then by Rhino, and then a little bit by Grasshopper as well. By all means, I'm not the BIM specialist, but we have rewritten the Revit plugin recently, which gives you a little bit more freely the information to the Revit environment. So it works via API, two-way API. So there is 2 ways of working it. So you can work it in the Revit environment where you can get map things that comes from our software, and you can see what are the highest your carbon hotspots. Or if you want to continue the assessment and do further work, you can send the data to cloud as well and carry on working in the software side. So you can do either or, depending how much. If you're just testing different materials here, then obviously it's quite quickly doing in the plugin itself. You can find the plugins in our customer support center and from there, and also more information. So the new rewrite works perfectly with 2021, and 2022 is planned for release soon as well. So what we're aiming to do, so you get all the data for this already in the plugin. So any of the data cards, you can see the carbon potential, the carbon global warming potentials, and everything about the data points already in the Revit environment without going to the software. Basically how it was revised is because we would like the people to be able to use the early stage models, and now you have two different ways of group these things. So it's either by keeping objects together, or you can split the objects. So obviously, if you keep the objects together, then you can use readily make assemblies. So if it's not layered, you can take assembly EPD or our self-made assemblies and already have your whole wall carbon footprint. But obviously, if you have all the layers, then splitting the objects will give you more accurate information, and all your layers will get a carbon figure themselves. So there is two ways of working that. It is dockable nowadays. Before it was a bit clunky on that side. And also the default take of units has been thought of for you, so they would be more accurate on the quantity side. So some like a floors might come on area, and walls will come a volume, and pipes come as a length, and so on. So there is few of those things there. The Rhino integration, it's quite interactive. So if you're a Rhino user, you will probably find it really easy to use. It has 4 tabs that really kind of explains what you do. So you use the objects there. Basically, you're assigning materials to a geometry in really simple terms. So you have a geometry, then you take the layers, and then you assign materials in here. And all these have two-way APIs. You have to be logged in on all of these plugins to be able to make connection with the software, and obviously have a license as well in that sense. And the Grasshopper itself, it's obviously if you are Grasshopper user, this probably makes perfect sense to you. So it's all about defining your building parameters and then see in real time how it's changing the object. This was moving earlier, but it's not moving now. I don't know why. Maybe it doesn't work on the objects. So you can in real time see how the project shape already can affect the emissions. So what you do in principle, you load the model, and then by using the components, you can link your materials and then make constructions out of the materials. So you basically first do select the LCA profile, define your materials, and then you create the construction by plugging your parameters together. So it is quite intuitive if you are a parametric design person. So yeah, it can be used with the Galapagos and Octopus depending what you are thinking of doing. So shape optimizations or multi-criteria optimization. So yeah, it has quite of a it has lots of potential, I think, in the carbon world, for especially I think things are moving more for the parametric way. You can trial the software if you want to. You find the plugins from our software site. If I have my Revit and this internet connection to go, I'll quickly show the internet, the plugin itself for Revit. So you can see here we have some different options. You can select your splitting materials and so on. You can set different models, so depending what you have here. You have different categories, so if you don't want to include certain things, you can turn layers off and on, or split object to materials. And this will then, depending on what categories you have, reads the materials from these categories. And then you have your materials here. Currently, these are not mapped to any material. But when I click here, so there's two ways of getting your mappings. You can do it manually. You can just start writing things, and you will find all the materials in here as long as you're logged in. And you can send this to a cloud. So this goes completely to the software side. Or if you click here, the results, it will try to map them automatically by using the naming. So if you have a plasterboard, it will try to find you a plasterboard, and then you can further refine it. So you can do the work without going anywhere from the Revit side. So you can get your mappings set in here as much as you like. This can take some time, especially today because my internet is not working. So this is in principle how it works. So you can get the results here. So now we have some single leaf concrete, for example, and it tells you the carbon, and clearly it's something that it's high. You can also then isolate the materials and see where it is that this comes from. So if you had some, and now you can see these are all mapped. So if I want to see what this ready mix concrete floor is, you can have a look. And if you want to then trial some different materials, you can just start mapping it to some other material and see how that would maybe some other concrete with some recycled content, for example, and see if that makes any difference on the carbon world. So you can do different kind of work in here. So that's kind of things you can do. Or if you want, then once you've done your option area, you can obviously send this to a cloud and carry on doing some further work on that sense. But that's in a nutshell really how our software can help you on the carbon side. So it is obviously important that we are moving towards low carbon buildings and reducing energy consumption in the buildings alone. It's not really going to be enough on that sense. So that's me. I'll stop sharing and Duncan take over.
Okay. Thank you very much, Johanna. Really interesting stuff and great to know about the options that are available there.